Joining us this morning, Sandra Rawline and attorney Robert Dowdy. Robert is sitting across from me. Sandra is on the phone. And first of all, Mr. Dowdy, I want to welcome you to Houston's Morning News. Great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Now, let me ask you this question real quick here. Did Sandra hire you? I know this is radio. People can't see you. But did Sandra hire you because you are gray, sir?
Well, I would like to say yes, but I hope it's competence in the legal profession. And one of the things that I want people to know that are gray, it's not a shame to be gray.
No.
You need to be competent at what you're doing. If you choose to dye your hair, that's fine with us, but it should be a choice for the person to make personally.
Sandra, welcome to Houston's Morning News. And my first question, I guess, is you were a little taken back by the fact that you were asked to dye your hair. Did you have a problem with them asking you to dress up a little bit as your company moved to the Galleria area?
Well, thank you first for having me on and for expressing an interest in my case.
Sure.
But I was hired by the company back in 2003, and I had gray hair at the time, and the original office was located in a prime location in the Galleria area. It was only after I had been working there for almost 6 years, we had moved the office to the Katy Freeway location. And we're in the process of moving it back to the Galleria when my supervisor came from Dallas, and we visited briefly on a Thursday afternoon, and we had a conversation about the upcoming move. And additionally, I was told that I needed to wear lots of fancy jewelry, wear lots of fancy suits, and to dye my hair, and that I smelled bad.
Now, Terry, Sandra, do you think that they were maybe just saying that, kidding? I mean, that maybe this just was a conversation that wasn't supposed to be taken seriously, or did you feel Sandra?
Wasn't kidding.
She
was not kidding.
Okay.
So initially, I was shocked, and after a pause, I said, "Well, I practice good hygiene, personal hygiene." I had gray hair when I was hired, and I'm not going to be dyeing my hair. I wear appropriate business professional clothing and have done so since I began working for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the jewelry that I wear is minimal, but it's tasteful.
All right, Sandra, we're going to talk to your attorney here, Robert Dowdy, about the legal ramifications of this. I also know that you were replaced by a woman who is about 10 years younger than you, and there are certainly statutes on the books and laws on the books that address that. I also have a statement here from Capital Title of Texas, which I will read. Stay with us. More with Sandra Rawline and her attorney, Robert Dowdy. We are joined by Sandra Rawline, who is a young lady who says, and I say young lady because she's the same age as I am. She's 52. She was fired because she would not dye her hair. Her attorney, Robert Dowdy, also in the studio with us. And Robert, the EEOC has given you the green light to go ahead and file a lawsuit against the company, Capital Title of Texas. So you feel pretty good about your chances here.
Yes, we feel good that we can produce a prima facie case that's required under the ADA. We sued under the Age Discrimination Act and also for retaliation, and we can meet the requirements that are required under the law and requirements by producing evidence that shows there was retaliation against my client and also there was discrimination that's required under the law. The EEOC did give us a right to sue. On March the 28th, Ms. Rawline acted and said she wanted to go forward with this suit, so we filed in accordance with the law.
Sandra, would you be willing to settle out if the company said, listen, we're sorry, maybe we overstepped our authority a little bit, you can keep your gray hair, we'd like you to come back to work, back pay, the whole deal. Would you go back?
I would consider it. I would expect, first and foremost, a formal apology and an acknowledgement from them, but I can't speculate on any of that right now.
Mm-hmm. But you would be willing, for instance, if somebody's listening right now from Capital Title of Texas and they said, maybe we can settle this thing out, let's not go to court, maybe we overstepped our authority a little bit, we'd like you to come back. There has been some, Sandra, there has been some speculation, tell me if I'm right or wrong, allegedly that you were not nice to customers. Is that a true representation of your personality?
The first I heard of any of that was when I read it in the paper.
So
I had never been approached for not being nice to customers or never been written up or even given a verbal warning. I was very professional. I was very good at my job.
I have no way of of arguing that one way or the other. Robert, would you be willing to settle this thing out? I mean, it seems to me that this could be settled pretty easily out of court. This is one of those things you hate to see tie up our court system.
Well, we're not going to make a statement as to that we wouldn't settle or we would settle, but each of these cases does have the opportunity to settle, and it would be up to Capital Title to come forward to us and offer terms of settlement that which we would be able to consider. I'm
going to ask our listeners to call in as well. 713-212-KTRH, 713-212-5874. I'd like to hear if anyone else has had this kind of an experience. Sandra, I certainly hope that things improve. I know you probably didn't expect to be a media darling at this point, but maybe it's good. I mean, for those of us that are turning a little bit gray, for those of us that are getting a little bit older, the entire population is. Sandra, you may be a trendsetter here.
Well, I'd like to hope that by doing this, I'm standing up for other people my age and people who have gray hair and that aren't as young and beautiful as we once were, but we are experienced and we're beautiful still on the inside. So I think that speaks volumes as to my character and my willingness to do a good job and be a good worker, and it speaks volumes for people of my generation.
Sandra Rawline and your attorney, Robert Dowdy, I want to thank you very much, and it is a pleasure to have you both here.